This is Real Sports Talk, Rumack and the Greek, featuring Billy the Greek and Stormin Norman Rumack. Brought to you by the good people at Cosa and Carpets for Life.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Yeah, that's good. Glad to hear it. Or if the answer wasn't good, great, then I'm sorry to hear it. But anyway, I'm here, Stormin Norman Rumack, with none other than Billy George Atsakis. I always get the name pronounced correctly. Not that I don't speak Greek. Maybe I will one day. But anyway, we're here to try and make you feel good, distract you from paying your bills, family feuds, friendship feuds, breakups, alimony payments. Or if you're like me, tax payments,
Leaf fans,
lines of credit payments,
oh yeah, oh,
big debt loads, all that stuff that so many of us go through, Billy and I and all of you. So anyway, we're gonna try and take you to a fork in the road, so you're not even thinking about any of that stuff. I mean, if there's good things going on, of course we don't want to distract you, but we just want to give you another thing to think about. Anyway, so we're glad that you're with us. We're here every Monday night. And we're live at the Bottom Line Restaurant. We're grateful for them and our great producer, Jordan LaRoche. We're just minutes away from Union Station, Scotiabank Arena, the Rogers Center, all that good stuff. So it's a great, great location. Come down and see us sometime, and we'll be glad to see you. And we want to thank right away before we get into the content of the show, which, of course, will include the Leafs. Billy's just got by Dallas Cowboys from their rivals, the Houston Texans. They did it, but Billy was probably sweating a few bricks watching that game. He's still sweating now. And we'll talk about those, what the heck, Detroit Lions? Could that be true for the first time in 25? When's the last year they were going? Oh, yeah, you told me. It was Sanders there in the playoffs, right? How many years ago was that?
It's been a couple of decades.
Yeah, okay.
Mark.
Anyway, so we got lots to talk about.
It's also been a couple of decades since you've been entertaining. Pick it up.
What? On the soccer show.
Hold on.
What was more entertaining than I was screaming
with all due credit, you did have. I remember you did have Morocco as one of the few. No,
I never lied. I was a boy. I wasn't a scout. I was a Cub.
You were a Cub?
I was a Cub. Yeah.
No kidding.
I was a seconder. I wasn't a sixer. I was a seconder. But,
what does that mean?
But because I didn't attend regularly, the Kayla, wasn't that the lady who heads up the Cubs in each group, right? I got fired because I wasn't a regular attendee at Cubs, but I liked my uniform. Anyway, but it was good for about a year. So I was a seconder, not a sixer. Were you a Cub or a scout, Billy? No, not really. Okay. Yeah, anyway, but I like.
That's funny, man. Yeah, Cub scout.
Okay.
So let's just say that
Billy would have rather been a Chicago Cub than
everybody's taking I took a rather circuitous route to get here, right? Everybody's taking their own journey.
All right, and we're going to hear from Cosa later. Cosa Classic coming up.
Bulldog Hanover. Oh, you know what Bulldog Hanover is? You never heard of him?
Yeah, I did.
Absolutely, you know what he is? The greatest machine of all time. So you know what they do with great machines?
And who was his driver, by the way?
Jody Jamison. Jameson. Double J. We had him on before. Okay. Here's the deal with Bulldog Hanover. You know what happens when you're really good?
Everyone wants to take you down.
Nah, they don't want to take you down. You know what they do? They retire you at an early age and they send you the farm.
The breeding farm.
They send you the farm. So Bulldog Hanover is a Cosa Classic coming right up. So what else we got? Obviously, we're gonna get to the what I'm really upset about, the treatment of Ronaldo. We'll get into that World Cup. Portugal, bye. Yeah. Ronaldo, bye. Yeah. Talk about Argentina, Morocco. We'll talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Morocco, one of the biggest.
And obviously, right off the top, big news in Blue Jay land. Recent signing of Chris Bassett, 3 years and 63. Yeah. I'll give you my take on this. Don't get too excited. And Kiermaier, we'll get into all that now. But before we do so, here's the Cosa Classic with Bulldog Hanover. See you on the other side.
On a break at the rail, Rocky Road, Hanover. He made an uncharacteristic break there. They're often pacing. First call to Poseidon Sealster buzzing out of there. The only real other speed to go with him here is Tattoo Artist. Sizing them up into third there is Bulldog Hanover, behind him Jimmy Freight. So marching on, it will be Tattoo Artist to make the front, but here comes Bulldog Hanover on the outside, powering up to join him. Poseidon Sealster right there with a ringside seat from in third. Fourth inside to Jimmy Freight. Desperate Man is fifth. Sixth inside, a clean start for a Buckabat Hanover. We go further back to find Luz Perlman. Rocky Road Hanover has reset after that early break, getting out out of there. Final 2 in the field working on a mystery, and no speed from War We Vital. He is back there 10th. Quarter speed of 26 and 3. It's Dunn's Racetrack as he's got Bulldog Hanover on the front end getting respect. Tattoo Artist in the pocket spot 2nd. Poseidon Sealster 3rd. It's Jimmy Freight 4th. Desperate Man 5th. Almost at the midway point. And Bulldog Hanover has been handed it so far as he leads the way in 54 and 3. Tattoo Artist is right there. Poseidon Sealster 3rd. It's Jimmy Freight edging out of 4th. Desperate Man picks up his cover 5th outside now. Back in at the rail 6, Luz Perlman. 7th underway comes a Buckabet Hanover. Then it's back to Rocky Road Hanover. Inside, Tracks working on a mystery, and War We Vital is underway from 10th. 3/4 bound, a length and a half the best is Bulldog Hanover. Back into 2nd, Tattoo Artist. Jimmy Freight first up 3rd. The rail 4th, Poseidon Sealster. Desperate Man covered up 5th. 3/4 in 1:21 and 1. And they come into the stretch, trying to track down Bulldog Hanover. Tattoo Artist is 2nd at the inside. Bulldog Hanover into the final 8th of the mile. Still there a length and a half. Tattoo Artist 2nd on the outside. Bulldog Hanover still there at the rail. And it's Bulldog Hanover in the Canadian Pacing Derby. He went the distance in 1:46 and 4/5, and he's tied the Canadian record.
By now, you know the name COSA TV, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. COSA TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. COSA TV, taking Ontario racing global.
Welcome to Carpets for Life. For over 30 years, we have been servicing both residential and commercial clients in the sales and installation of custom stair runners on wall-to-wall areas. Our team prides itself in honesty with a regard of professionalism and customer satisfaction. Our many testimonials and continuous referrals is a testament of the quality of workmanship we provide. We strive to ensure a happy customer is a Carpets for Life customer.
Hey everybody, welcome back, and thanks again to our great sponsors from COSA, Standardbred Harness Racing Ontario, and they've been, I've worked with them for a long time and with Billy a long time, so they're very loyal people. We're grateful, and our great friend Nikki, the king of carpets, good friend of Billy's for a long time, real good guy.
Hell of a poker player too, this guy.
Oh, really?
You got to be careful. When you're around a guy like Borshi playing poker, you know what you should do? Don't turn around. Don't think, man.
Does he wear sunglasses? Oh, jeez.
Jesus, take it easy. You're going to get that on a blooper reel, man.
Sorry for the explosion there on the mic.
Here's the deal with Borshi, man. Just keep your eyes on your chips. That's all I'm
really?
going to say. Yeah, easy. Sticky fingers, that guy.
How much, what's the biggest win at your poker group in one night? Like how much cash?
I don't want that. I don't want people calling me for loans. Man, only the biggest.
That big?
$20.
Oh, okay.
$25.
Oh, all right. Well, that's doable.
Yeah, it's doable, eh?
That's like a step up from the coffee shop.
Yeah, well,
it's like a meal for four.
Anyways, all kidding aside, great guy, Carpets for Life, residential, commercial, otherwise, pay him a visit. Okay. Like if you're in need for anything of that sort, right? Yeah. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you give the guy, not because I'm telling you, but you give the guy a shot. He's better than most, cheaper than most, and you know what he is?
Sometimes he's a good guy.
Yeah, that's the end of the day. You know when you go in your pocket and you're paying for a service? Yeah. Sometimes it feels a little better, not only to get a discount, but to deal with good people, right?
And he's definitely one of them. He'll talk hockey with you, especially, the GTA, because he's a Habs fan.
He'll talk hockey. He's not the most sophisticated. He's good. Let's just put it this way. He's good at installing carpets, man. From there, poker, hockey, man, he's not like...
Actually, from Billy, that's a compliment.
He's not the sharpest knife in the drawer, man, but he's a great guy. He'll take care of you. COSA, obviously, we love him. Love what they do, and special shout out to Stacy Newman out at COSA, Kathy Belton, Bill O'Donnell, and all the good people that run that organization, and for their continued support. Really appreciate it. But here's what we appreciate. We appreciate you guys for watching. The heavy hitters on. The heavy hitter. He's lurking somewhere in the bushes. Hey, heavy hitter, share the program before I give you a smack. What else we got to do, Norm? You're on your phone. What are you looking at? Hey, you doing your homework? Jay signed a couple guys. Do you care? Are you excited?
Well, I'm not. I'm interested. It's like, because me, I don't I have some favorite. My passion
It's Chelsea. I know.
Chelsea. Yeah.
All right.
No, the other teams I watch your Cowboys and your Blue. I watch your teams, but I'm just saying it's
All right,
like
now
ask me.
here's-
All right, so
What kind of word?
and even you admitted you were breaking a sweat over your Cowboys.
Where do you want to
yesterday.
start? You want to
All right,
start with
let's-
your beloved Toronto Maple Leafs or your Toronto Blue? Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start off with the Leafs because it's more
I
time.
told you so. I told you.
Well, okay,
I told you.
I'm saying I even asked you off the air. Okay, Kiermaier's a great player.
Kiermaier
Love
does
my
play-
Tampa Bay. I'm just saying is like, but we all know the big fix the Blue Jays are going to need is the bullpen. So is that going to get done, and who are they going to get? That's going to be the big question.
I thought
Right?
you want to talk about the Leafs.
Well, I do. Okay, so and here is the question. I only know a little bit of French. De ce soir. The question of the night is coming up. I'm pleased to present to you my great friend Billy George at Sakis, who now is going to give his incredible support to none other than William Nylander. Last year after the playoffs, you would have traded him for like a second-round pick, maybe.
Here's the
Yeah.
and this somewhat pains me to say, but actually not at all, because sometimes when somebody of his ilk, especially a talented guy, never came in. I had never questioned the man's talent. What we did as Leaf fans, a lot of us,
you didn't like
is-
his lack of
You gonna
intensity.
let me
and
talk?
grit. I guess so, maybe.
Oh, let me
yeah.
finish the sentence. I know you're
Go
a Hall of
ahead.
Famer.
Go ahead, Your Honor.
All right. Obviously, for you people out there, it's the same feeling as me for a certain segment of the population that was not big William Nylander fans. We got to look in the mirror, and we also got to acknowledge the fact that William Nylander has never, and he's don't kid yourself. He hasn't become tenacious. He hasn't become.
You mean tenacious physically?
Physically in that respect, but here's
not every player's like that.
But here's the deal. He is playing overall the best, most competitive hockey that I've seen him play in a Leaf jersey. And that's all fans like us want. We know that not everybody's going to be a pugilist. Not everybody's going to drop the gloves. But what we want to see, especially from a kid that's as talented as him, is an honest effort. And we want to see a guy that demonstrates he cares, shows it in the way he plays his game. And I hearken back. I like that, eh? Harken back to a couple weeks ago.
A retro word. Yeah. Harken. Young people don't use that word anymore, Bill. I'm impressed.
Well done. I'll tell you what's in the offing if you pay attention. I go all over the place. Anyways.
Okay.
I harken back to a couple weeks ago when I seen something, and it was completely unbelievable to me. And that was him making a giveaway and smashing his stick on the bench. I've never seen nothing like that by him. And you know, other cases like Marner did, and we all look at him like, for me, that is the most refreshing thing that I've seen in William Nylander over the course of the 5-year tenure he's been a Toronto Maple Leaf. Because finally, in my eyes, you know what he showed? He cared. I seen some frustration.
Passion, yeah.
I seen some emotion on the ice. And
Well, so do you figure? Do you think in the off? We'll never know this, but do you figure in the off season? Do you think the coach, or the coaches, plural, talked to him? The GM talked to him. His teammates. What do you figure happened?
Somebody talked to him, or that mirror kept talking to him. One of the two. Because obviously, when you're criticized, you can say you don't listen to the media, you don't listen.
They
to
listen.
this, but they hear, they understand. You know what the knocks are. So at some points in time, we also got to factor in he's a young man, maturing into his body, 24 years old, right? Look at Rogers calling again. Leave me alone.
Oh, it said suspected spam.
yeah. Who else is calling? You know, when they say that, it's somebody looking for money. Anytime you get a suspected scare, just hang up. Anyways.
Okay, yeah.
Anyways, the long and the short of it is give the guy credit. Give the guy credit for the performance he's put forward to this point in time.
I mean, 5-point nights. Okay, they happen, but not that often.
Doesn't matter. He's gotten points before, Norm, and I was never on the bandwagon. He can score you 40 and still be in my doghouse. But the point of the matter, he's played a more complete game.
Yeah.
He's shown a level of compete, and that's all guys like Peter Angelo want, is a level of compete, man. Yeah. And once we see that as Toronto fans, then you know what? Even for us detractors of the man, we got to give the guy credit where credit is due. And he deserves it from me. And if you continue to play that way, I'm not picking on a guy, Norm, just for shits and giggles. I pick on him because this is what I see. I want to feel, when I'm watching him, I want to feel inspired. I want to see a guy with talent that cares. And once we as fans see a guy that cares, you know what we do? We tip our hat to him. That's why we watch the game. We want to see people that care. And he's entered the Greeks' circle a little bit, the circle of trust.
Wow.
He's gaining entry.
So now you'd only trade him for what, like 2 first-round picks and a first-line
Hold
player?
on, man, don't kid yourself.
Yeah.
If I'm somewhat forgiving and keen on him and giving him respect,
Well,
there's 28, 29 other general managers that are watching the same thing I am.
Yeah.
Now the question is, what kind of assets would you get in return? Would it make your club better? But at this point in time, the market for William Leonard will never ever be. Will it ever be bigger? The jury's out.
Well,
there's a possibility it might never be bigger.
The thing
than
is, now we only wonder. Everybody would wonder. Even his team, would wonder. Can he do this consistently now over the course of a season at this level? And I don't mean 5-point nights. I mean just with the same intensity, determination, and all that.
See, and that's the thing. Like we ask, can you? Like it should be expected. Like intensity. Intensity is a trait that should not.
Well, it's hard to have it for 82 games,
all right,
but
we're not asking
a lot of
to
those
have,
games. Yeah,
we're asking for exponential increases.
Nential, exponential,
and nential or dental?
No,
or what?
Dental is like dentures.
I'm with you, Bill.
Dental plan, exponential.
I say you got to say that quick, so don't ever correct a Greek like that again, man. All right, I got to find a different course of action. Now, the point of the matter is, kids playing well. All credit to him. Kudos, keep it up. So the better he plays, the better he becomes, either wearing a Leaf uniform or as an asset moving forward. And that broadens your options. Because if I'm impressed, Norm Rumack, and you're impressed, so is the hockey world. And frankly, a lot of the people doubted he had it in him, and it's refreshing to see.
Okay,
is that enough? Now, what else you want to get to?
All right. So
here's the thing about
the other thing that's to me that's impressed, I'm sure, for Leaf fans and Leafs Nation. And thanks to James Foley and his Leafs Nation group. We appreciate you folks watching us. So it's got to be Leaf fans have been clamoring for the club as a whole to respond well to adversity. And this year they've had adversity with injuries on their blue line. So the most pleasing part of the last 3 weeks to a month is the club. Everyone's pulled up their socks.
No.
Two
men. You're responsible. 2 men are responsible. Well, there's more than 2.
Thing.
It's a team thing.
Yeah.
But as I told you, for you guys paying attention, as I told you some years ago, I need a big word.
Most pleasing.
Here. Not the most.
The most satisfying. The most inspiring.
The most vital. The thing that's most vital to Toronto Maple Leaf success comes down to 2 men. And I told you 2 years of Liljegren and Sandin.
Yeah.
And if they can play 22 minutes to 23 minutes at an elite level, not many guys playing better hockey than Timothy Liljegren in the NHL. Sandin a little bit rusty coming in, but he's found his groove too. When those 2 guys making $800K or $1 million a year are your 2 best defensemen, you know what? It's not a wonder you're 3rd in the league against goals against.
Yeah.
Your goaltenders look serviceable, and obviously, when Riley goes down, the world's ending. Muzzin went down, the world's ending, and the Leafs have never been better. Yeah. They've never been better, and you can pin that right on those 2 kids right there. They're playing unbelievable hockey, and thank God they are, man, because that's the whole Dubas philosophy, right? He needed to find 2 guys on the back end that can outperform their salary, and he found them, and they're playing good hockey, man. You can't take that away from them.
And the goalkeeping has been better than expected overall.
It has been.
Murray included.
It has been. And you know what? The goaltending at this point last year through November, again, we got to remember we're early. Jack Campbell was a Vezina guy through November, right?
That's true.
And you saw some of the ups and downs. Yeah. So, Leaf Nation, get ready for a slump. Get ready for a 2-8, a 2-7-1 10-game streak. Every club has them. You've seen the Bruins; they're going to have one. You've seen Vegas; every club's going to have one. The Leafs historically have been one of the better regular season clubs. This year's no different. I told you guys to relax. I told Kerry Goulet, who, by the way, congratulations.
Yeah, he's going to be coaching a professional club in Australia.
Yeah, awesome. Congratulations. Good for him.
Yeah,
Great.
Well done, Gooch.
Yeah, good stuff, Kerry, man. You'll be dynamite down there, man. As long as you just keep the boys in check, keep the room in order. I'm sure he'll do great.
And Kerry, make sure you can properly say good day, mate.
He'll figure it.
Good eye, mate.
He's a savvy guy. He'll figure it out, and he's a good hockey man and a good guy. Wish him all the best.
He's been down there before in promotion tours.
But in terms of the conversations we had, he's played the game. He's kind of an expert, quasi-expert of sorts. He wanted everybody fired in Leafland. He wanted Keefe gone. And I said, "Whoa, Gucci, put the brakes on. It's still October, goddammit. Relax a little bit." And now the Leafs look like they're the best team in the NHL. Are they?
And to be fair, part of the mentality for Leaf fans is, yes, and we've seen them in parts of the last 3-4 years be the best team in the regular season.
And again, that's my whole goddamn point about the whole conversation. Nothing they do, either good or bad, surprises you, right?
That's
true.
That's
true. Have enough. They have
enough talent
overall to be one of the better clubs in consideration for Lord Stanley. That's not a surprise, right?
Yeah. They've proven that in the regular season.
So again, if they've proven that now, the question is, are they better equipped this year than years past? I don't know. Do you know?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
They don't know.
So the question I'd ask you, Leaf fans, and I'll ask whoever's out there is, given the fact you've had so much success without arguably your best defenseman in Morgan Riley, would you consider kind of using Morgan Riley as a trade chip?
Well,
to
augment
other
it's
parts
always,
of your roster?
the expression, Billy, is always, if the Oilers could trade Wayne Gretzky, so just fill in the name of the blank on any team, right? It happens all the time. So I'm just saying the end of that question is always, for any GM of any kind of credibility, is, can I make my team better? It's not the name that you're trading.
So hold on. So the question is obviously, and as you know, as Jordan knows, everybody that watches the game of hockey knows, top 2, top 4 defensemen are hard to find. And I don't think anybody would argue that Morgan Riley is a top 4 defenseman on any club in the NHL.
That he isn't?
He isn't.
Yeah, no,
he's on any club in the NHL. Is Morgan
he may
Riley
not be top 2, depending on which team, but top 4, yes.
Let me ask the questions, Norman. Don't jump the guy.
Did I
know
steal your question.
Is Morgan Riley on any team in the NHL a top 4 defenseman? Yes or no?
Yes.
All right. So if you're a top 4 defenseman and the Leafs are playing fine without you, so you know what you do? You shop Morgan Riley right now when the getting's good. You alleviate some of your salary cap stress. You go find something that can augment your club.
Although I think rival GMs will want to see him play when he gets back from his injury. No, they will. They want to see, okay, is he back to like...
See, that's the beauty. Leaf fans have been forever searching for a top 4 D-man. Yeah. And now you got a top 4 D-man that's hurt, and you can use him as trade bait. If top 4 D-men are hard to find, you got one sitting on Roma Island.
But I'm saying, if I'm a rival GM, I want to see him play when he comes back from injury. I'm just saying.
All right, so if he plays how we play, at this point in time, would you be
if you can improve your team, hell yes, absolutely.
And that's...
You'd say the same thing about your top forwards, other than
but here's the...
Other than your top 2, but I'm just saying, if you could improve your team, almost anybody's available.
Here's the issue. Obviously, Giordano is playing unbelievable at the age of 39, logging big minutes. Yeah. Justin Holl, nobody's favorite. Marty Roberts chime in. Obviously, nobody likes this guy. But I'm going to ask you simply, do you have, as a Leaf fan, confidence moving forward that Sandin and Liljegren can be your top pairing defense for a Stanley Cup playoff?
Well, to be fair, that's an unknown.
That's
a big unknown. The regular season doesn't necessarily translate. Yeah. They're playing. You want to say they're playing over their heads, better than expected, or what you expected. But the playoffs, as we've seen for every player on the Maple Leafs, is a different animal.
All right,
so
I'll ask you this:
that's a big
would you
unknown.
rather, if you were GM of the Leafs, would you rather have Sandin making $1 million or Riley making $7 million? And
Riley, to be fair, is a proven commodity.
Yeah, but what would you rather have? Sandin at 1 or Riley at 7?
Well, I would take Riley for his experience.
And $7 million?
Yeah. Well, you got to clear cap space. I mean, where are they at on their cap space now? They don't have much, right?
They got about 25 cents.
Wow, okay.
Right? So therein lies, again, that's the solution.
But that can be fixed in the offseason.
That could be fixed, and the best way to fix it is you suit up Morgan Riley, and then you keep it down, and at the trade deadline, you cash in.
Well, put it this way, your top 4, depending on who they move, put it this way, Marner and Matthews, if they go into the playoffs and they can honestly say to themselves and their buddies, it's like, boy, Shanny or whatever, they got us a real stud. Gee, and we're excited. Now we got 1 or 2 players that can really help us to play. That's the question. If they are excited, then
How do you think the dressing room would feel for a Riley trade?
Well, the players, I think, are very. Look at I think they all keep in touch with Nazem Kadri. They'd like to have him on the Leafs, but they understand the question they're going to be asking themselves is the guy you brought in. As much as we hated to see our buddy, whoever our buddy is, whichever player, if you improve the team, and if he's the player they brought in is regarded as a good character guy, a good guy in the room,
what do you think Riley's market is? What do you think you can expect in return for Riley? Can you expect a top 6 forward plus?
Yeah,
plus,
I wouldn't move for anything less than I would say 2 players, maybe a top 6, or if it's a D man, for sure you got to get another D man. You got to get 2, I would think. Right? Or a top D man and another forward who obviously fits in. Like, in other words, not someone who you got to, like, oh, we're just a rent-a-player. For Toronto, that doesn't do any good. You need someone who you can build around or add to, right? A rental player for Toronto doesn't make sense when you're giving up somebody like that.
Yeah, and it's funny because as we watch, we wonder, again, and in 2 weeks from now, that's the beauty of the NHL. In 2 weeks from now, this defense in the back end, you got a guy named Timmins. Never heard of him. He looks serviceable to me. I watch him play. Doesn't look out of place. You got other guys holding down the fort that have not necessarily been established.
Or what if? Hopefully it doesn't. But what if Liljegren or Sandin got hurt? Right?
Or they get hurt or fall apart. Therein lies the issue. So if you wanted to ship Riley at his peak value when he comes back, you'd have to get a defenseman in return. Probably you couldn't go Riley for draft picks and a forward or something like that, right?
No,
you'd have to go 1 for 1.
No, yeah. And again, the bottom line is not. And by the way, it wouldn't be about can we improve the team 5 years from now. Leaf fans aren't going to accept that because no, it's this team now. The window is now, and the window is short.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that left. Lee, Marty, any of you guys? Would you guys be open? And I'll ask you, and I hear your responses on here. I know you're watching. Would you guys trade Morgan Riley? Would you guys consider trading Morgan Riley at the deadline?
Without knowing what they say, I think they all say is, can you make the club better for this year and next year? Because it's time already to take advantage of the players that you have. Because next summer the Leafs can talk to Austin about extending his contract, but if he wants to play the field, that means the summer after, every team and any team can make bids, including his hometown team. I'm not saying you go there, but you just don't know. We don't know where his
Marty, just chime in. What's going on, Marty? You said he's on pace for 50 and 90 points. Your thoughts? Obviously, you know how I feel. Next time, pay attention from the beginning of the show. I told you how I felt about Nylander. Don't make me repeat it, man. Give the kid credit where it's credit's due. Never played better hockey. Yeah. Now, speaking of playing great hockey, obviously, when you talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs, we'll get to the Blue Jays in a bit. Hold on. When you talk about the Leafs, are you surprised by the goaltending tandem? Are you surprised?
Well, Murray would be the bigger surprise.
So apologize to Kyle.
I don't know. Why should I apologize?
What do you mean?
I didn't call for him to be fired.
Apologize to Kyle for doubting him.
Apologizing for a damn thing.
So you come on here.
Yeah.
So you come on here.
I don't apologize.
You berate Kyle. You question his hockey IQ, and now
wait a second. What's your wait? Ladies and gentlemen, let's go back into the time tunnel and recall. Bill, let's a trivia question, but I haven't got a prize for you unless Billy does or Jordan.
Get to the point, man.
So let's throw this out. Let's see who's the first who can answer.
Jeez, it takes you a million words to get a sentence.
I know, but this is compelling.
Compelling TV.
Compelling podcast.
Sure, the fans.
The question is this, ladies and gentlemen, send your replies. Like hashtag to Billy. What is Billy's nickname for Kyle Dubas? When he apologizes for having a funny nickname to Kyle, then he can ask me.
Here's what I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll tell you.
What do you call him? The little what? Whatever it was.
Little piece of shit. No.
Oh, come on.
I never called Kyle a piece of shit in my life, man.
No, that's not nice. No. But you had a nickname for it. It's nothing to do with.
And here's the deal. No matter what you say about the guy, he took a big chance, eh? He took a big chance in Murray, who hadn't played, who hasn't been healthy in years. Yeah. He took Samsonov and he let Campbell go. Yeah. Campbell's lost his job in Edmonton. He's on the hook over it. Anybody that goes to Edmonton to play net gets destroyed. He's on the hook for 5 years.
And to be fair,
I'm talking.
All right, go ahead. I apologize, Joe.
He's on the hook.
Apologize.
The Edmonton where goaltenders go to die. Edmonton's on the hook for 5 years and $30 million, and Campbell couldn't save a beach ball.
And to be fair to Mr. Dubas and Mr. Murray, again, it's going to be the same the same judgment is going to be on what happens with the Leaf goalkeeping in the playoffs, right? Okay, why shouldn't it be the same as for their forwards and defensemen?
So what has to happen, and
Yeah.
here's the interesting thing, I don't think anything can happen personally to give Leaf fans a sense of confidence that this year will be different until it actually happens.
There's no confidence until
until
April 20th or 21st, whatever, that the playoffs start on the 10th. So take 10 days, 2 weeks. And then, but even then, you and I talked about this off the air. I'm sure the folks watching, the Leaf fans watching, say, even winning the first round, it's not going to do it anymore. There's no gravy in winning the first. That's kind of like, okay, thank God, right? But if they don't win us, honestly, you tell me, if the Leafs do not win 2 rounds, is it going to matter? Winning the first round is like, that's a bottom line. But are Leaf fans going to be any happier if they go out in the second round? Other than it's like, oh, they take on Tampa Bay, 7 games overtime each game.
The only question, sometimes you die, and there's 31 clubs that are going to die, Norm Rumack.
I know
much
that.
like your career at the Fed.
I can't say the word that starts with F.
31.
And it's not necessarily a dirty word, but I'm just saying. It's
31 clubs are going to die, right?
Yeah.
And the question is, how do you die? Do you lay down?
That's what I'm saying. If you have 7 overtime games and you lose it's like, okay, you can't question the effort, and they played a great team. But even then, I think Leaf after now, it's not the fault of the current team what happened 15 years ago, right? But I think there's a patience where Leaf fans is like, oh no, here we go again.
And
right?
here's the interesting thing, but hockey is so funny, especially this club, that you have a ragtag defense for the most part with kids and guys that you've summoned from God knows where. Timmins, they brought him from Ted Reeve Arena, and he looks like a serviceable guy. You got 2 goalies. One guy that's been perpetually hurt was on Robida Island for a fake injury. You got another guy in Samsonov, and somehow you've compiled this band of characters, and you're 3rd in the league in goals against, and you're 2nd in the league in points, man. To me, that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Just on its own.
Okay, but weren't the Leafs somewhere in that ballpark last January?
Yeah, hold on, Rumack. They were in that ballpark, but they weren't in that ballpark with their best defenseman out. They weren't in that ballpark with 6 defensemen. If I told you that at the beginning of the year, this is what the Leafs defense would look like in mid-December, and this is the goaltenders, what you would have them? You would have them last in the league in goals against, right? It's unbelievable. So kudos to Keith. Kudos to what's going on over there. And you know what? We want to believe. And we see signs. We want to believe. Michael wants to believe. He's watching, obviously wants to believe. But you know what? Nothing, Norm Rumack, will change until they shake hands after a playoff round on the victorious side.
That's right.
Nothing will change.
Yeah.
And if they shake hands again and they got their heads down, you know what happens? Obviously, I'm not a rocket scientist. Tell you, Dubas is exit stage left. Shanny goes somewhere else, and you let somebody else take the ship, because this is Dubas's last run. And so far, Bob Roberts, Mr. Roberts out in Barrie, so far, everything Dubas has done this year has turned out surprisingly to most effective, right?
Yeah, although they have had other regular seasons where the changes look good initially.
Yeah, they look good, Norm. Yeah. They look good. But this year, again,
I
want to go over it. Give the guy credit. He took a flyer on Murray and Samsonov. They've been unbelievable. Yeah. He took a flyer on Sandin and Liljegren. They've been playing out of their mind. So everything Dubas has done, it's blessed. So you know what you do, Kyle? So far, you're doing okay, but you got to be...
You can't get too comfortable.
You got to be clever at the trade deadline. Yeah. You got to be innovative. You got to find the next Nick Paul out there.
That's right.
You got to find and you got to add to this club. And you know what? At the end of the day,
your third and fourth lines. That's right.
At the end of the day, it's all destiny at some points, because the line between winning and losing, Norm, is finite.
That's true. That's good.
Did I use that word in the proper context?
Yeah, it's limited.
Limited, eh?
Very good, Bill. I'm impressed. I mean, and you didn't go to Syracuse University, did you? Maybe you did. I just didn't know about it. Okay. All right. Billy went to the School of Life on the Danforth. And which pool hall was it, Billy? You never told us which pool hall.
We want to talk about Paradise.
The Danforth is great. I was just there last night for a
5-year Shanny plan. You know what? At the same point in time, they left. We're all in the same boat. And here's the funny thing, man, that as fans, every one of these 8 years, we've had moments of true hope and belief, and they've all been squashed at the end of the journey. Hopefully this year is different. Time will tell. But at this point, if it was like the Boston Marathon, you remember Rosie Ruiz?
Yeah, well, that story. Yeah, you don't have to even
Rosie?
follow. I know, Rosie. She took a shortcut, right?
So there's this one.
And
Listen
then she
to this.
finished, and then she got investigated, and like,
Nobody
oh, well.
knows this. For you guys watching, you want to laugh.
This was like back in the 80s.
Let me tell the goddamn
Yeah,
story.
all right, go ahead.
Pay attention, guys. So this one, Rosie Ruiz shows up in the Boston Marathon, right? And she sets a world record, and nobody's ever.
Now, Billy, would you ever try something like that? Would
know
you
what
ever
they did?
try something like
This
that?
broad took the subway and beat everybody, and they put the crown on her and everything. Jesus, I would love to get Rosie Ruiz on the show, eh? Hey,
Go
you think she's
ahead, you
alive?
invite her. What's she doing now? Maybe
Goes,
she's doing a podcast.
who goes on the subway to win the Boston Marathon, and they give her that crown and everything? God bless
Well,
you,
but
Rosie
they took
Ruiz.
it away. I mean,
Right?
they I guess her fellow runners. Wait a second, where was she?
She ended up at the finish line, Norm, and she wasn't even sweating.
Well, that's surely a telltale sign, I think.
Oh, geez, man. Yeah, unbelievable. You ever ran a marathon?
No,
No?
not ran a marathon. No, I mean, I participated in a lot of sports. You already know which ones. Hockey and baseball, like softball rather,
Yeah.
and kickboxing. I told you I only used that once.
All right, Mikey says,
yeah.
hold on. We got
Yeah.
Mikey chimes in here. Hold on, Mikey. I'm going to give you a little bit of good Greek lad. I mean,
Yeah.
I need glasses. Jesus to Murphy. We will see what happens in the playoffs.
That's
That's
what
going to
happens.
be the real measuring stick.
Yeah,
If
that's
they go
for
off
sure.
the cliff in the first round, it's time to blow the entire. Mikey, your sentiments are that of everybody
Yeah.
that watches the entirety of Leaf hockey,
Yeah.
Leaf Nation. You're going to go. We're going to live and die one more time with a playoff run. And at this point in time, here's what I'd like to see. I'd be better. I'd feel a lot better. I feel a lot better if I seen some additions in terms of the roster after the trade deadline. Again, Tampa Bay. As a reminder, we're going to get to the Jays in a minute. Tampa Bay, as a reminder, won that series last year against Toronto because they found Nick Paul at the deadline and Kyle Dubas didn't. It's that simple.
yeah.
You put Nick Paul on the Leafs, they win that series.
Well, maybe.
Don't the Greek.
No.
Just say, yeah, you're right.
No.
No?
No. I will not be intimidated.
You will not be intimidated.
Right.
All right, so you're not intimidated.
No, I'm saying it's possible. Of course, it's possible,
All right.
but we don't know that
So
for sure.
pretend this. Let's change the subject a little. We'll get to the Blue Jays in a second. Let's change
Yeah.
the subject a little. Let's pretend I am the greatest thing since sliced bread. Let's pretend I'm Portuguese.
Well, you
and I'm-
believe that anyway.
Let's pretend I'm Portuguese.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
37.
are we going to
and
talk
I-
about
hold on.
Cristiano Ronaldo?
Let me. Oh, jeez, man. Let me flip. This is called a segue, pal.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
I like that, Billy.
Anyways, I'm 37. I've carried a Portuguese team on my back for 20 years, right?
Yeah.
And then you get to the World Cup, I'm 37, and I got this guy benching me. If I'm Cristiano Ronaldo, I've never seen a star athlete of a country. Can you imagine if Argentina bench Messi? What kind of
But Messi can still play
What do
like
you mean?
Messi.
Hold on.
Ronaldo is not the same player
says-
he was.
Hold on, I watched, and again, I'm not as versed as you. So correct me
He
if I'm wrong.
struggled. He's had a hard time.
He had the most dangerous scoring chances. They brought him on in the second half. He had a
but
shot on goal. He was the most dangerous guy on the
But-
pitch.
But Billy, the problem is this: when you openly or you show,
Just say it, man.
I'm just saying, if you question the integrity, credibility, or if you show up your manager, it's not cool.
That's so
you can't
what?
do that. Well, because
So-
you can't take a risk on questioning the credibility of your manager when you're in every game and when you're at the knockout stage, and you've got to have team unity. And you know what? If you're Ronaldo and you have an issue with your manager, go out for a beer, take him aside in the locker room, and wring his ear off. But you don't make an obvious show.
So that's enough. That's enough for him to. That's enough for him to be.
But
not
he's
one of
done
the
it.
12?
He's done this at Manchester United, and that's why he's no longer gonna. I mean, that's where the falling out was.
That's it. For
You can't
man.
keep.
You can't treat a
can't.
guy that's been the face of your country for 20 years. You can't throw
No.
him like that. You can't throw him like that. And obviously, if Santos is the coach's name? What's the
Yeah.
coach's name?
I got to look at it. I can't
Santos,
remember.
I believe.
Okay. Anyway,
Right?
it doesn't matter.
So in other words, what you
Whoever
did,
the manager,
whatever it did,
like Ten Hag is the manager.
that's like Gretzky not taking a penalty shot in the Olympic. It is just outrageous.
But Gretzky was still in his prime. Ronaldo
No, he wasn't, man.
90.
Ronaldo scored 20 goals last year for Manchester United. What is he, chopped liver?
But he can't move the way he used to.
But he still moves better
If
than
you set
most
him up, if you set him up in front of the net, yes. But he hasn't got the same. To be fair to the guy, he's not a spring chicken. I'm not knocking him. He's an all-time great player.
Point of the matter is
he's the heart and soul of Portugal. But
for the last 20 years, and that's how you treat him.
Well, if he's not playing to the level that you think is going to advance you, yeah,
that's how you treat. That's how you
it's
treat
not
an
treated.
icon.
That's how you got to coach. You're coaching an entire
team. All right, so let me
team.
ask you something.
It's
Did you
not,
see he had a strike?
Ronaldo knows this as well as anybody.
No.
He's been in the
He
league
had a strike
forever.
on net. He had a strike on net late in the 80th
okay.
plus, right?
Yeah.
And he almost beat the goaltender short side, right? It was a tough save, right?
Yeah.
Say that one gets through, sneaks through,
But it
and
didn't.
Hold on, I'm asking you because
Yeah.
the line's fine.
Yeah.
If it sneaks through, right? Same thing. You know what he is today? We're lauding him as one of the greatest of all time.
But he already is one of the greatest of all time. The question is not is he amongst the very best who ever played the game?
Doesn't
Yes,
matter.
he is.
Yes, and
But
you
the
don't
question is,
disrespect a guy
the
like
question
that.
is,
You
all
don't-
right, well, the
I'm
fact
glad Portugal's up. First of all, I don't like the Portuguese. I'm Greek. We took them
Why?
down in Euro. We smacked them around 2004 Euro Cup, right? The Greeks always own the Portugal. Pay attention. The way Ronaldo was treated was a disgrace.
He's been treated the same way at Manchester United.
Doesn't matter. Just for his
No,
country,
but I
man.
mean, but Billy, there's a pattern there. You can't show up your manager and question the integrity of what he's. You can question in private all you want, but you can't make a show like leave the match off the bench and go to the locker room early. Like I'm going for a shower because I didn't like. You just take your manager aside, chew his ear off, and leave it there.
You know what?
You can't because you're distracting your own teammates.
No, it's a sad ending. It's a terrible ending for a storied international run. And this is hold on. This is the last guy's run at 37. He's carried that Portuguese team on his back for 20 years. They owed it to him. They owed it to him to be one of the 11, man. That's it. And if you take him out, you know what it is. You're spitting at somebody that hold on, I'm talking. He put Portugal on the map. Portugal's a nothing happening place with no talent.
Well, that's not true. That's not true.
He's been the face of Portuguese soccer for 20 years, and that's how you treat that guy?
Yeah.
Get out of here. Good luck. Now, anyways, let's move on to the semifinal, and we'll close up with the Blue Jays or NFL, wherever else.
Okay.
So, obviously, Morocco, France, right?
Yeah, well,
David and Goliath.
Morocco is like, it's one of the all-time greatest Cinderella stories in footy. It really is. I mean, when we had James Sharman on to preview the tournament, I had asked him, do you think one of the African clubs there's three of them, that are competing. I mentioned, but I didn't even mention, to be fair, because
you follow soccer your whole life. You didn't know it?
Didn't know what?
You didn't know Morocco was dangerous? So what kind of soccer are you watching, man?
Because they've never shown that in a big tournament.
I thought you were a soccer expert.
I am.
But you didn't see Morocco.
I didn't know, but neither did anybody else. Even Morocco didn't see Morocco.
So in other words, you're saying you got no cash on Morocco?
No, do I have any sentiment? Yeah, I mean, it's a great, like I say, it's an all-time great story. But when I asked James Sharman, did you think, now at the time I was focusing on Ghana and Senegal. Did you know they were in the tournament? No. Did you think Ghana and Senegal?
Here's what I'll tell you.
Especially because Senegal won the AFCON.
Here's what I'll tell you.
That's their tournament, right?
Here's what I'll tell you.
And I am cheering for, there's one Moroccan player who plays for Chelsea, Hakim Ziyech, and he's been superb. I'm happy for Hakim Ziyech because I cheer for all my Chelsea players.
Here's what I'll tell you. I'm wearing the Argentina colors, by the way. Here's what I'll tell you.
What? That's not Argentina.
Yes, it is.
Baby blue,
man.
barely.
Here's what I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I know, and it just occurred to me that I know as much about footy as you because you told me Belgium was great, right?
I said they're great, but I also said they've underachieved. They are great, and I said if Canada were to draw with Belgium and or Croatia, it would be regarded
all right,
as
who
a
you got,
major achievement.
Who you got? Croatia, Argentina, quickly.
Okay.
Let's get on to the Jays and then the NFL and close her up.
All right.
Who do you got?
I'm going to go with Croatia. Croatia.
That's it, really?
I don't want to be that much. Croatia was in the finals 4 years ago.
Yeah, they're in the
there.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I'm saying. I think I edge it to Croatia. I give an edge
in 90 or plus.
It could go either way.
Well, you go
Okay,
on.
I'll say a 90.
You say-
yeah, because you saw against Canada. Okay, they had the mistake at the beginning. If you want to call that, or give credit to
Uh-huh.
Alphonso Davies, right? It was a sleeper playing football, right? He got behind
Yeah.
the lines. Okay, but after 15 minutes, Croatia turned the tables and they dominated. Right, fair enough. But I'm just saying they're skilled and they're. You thought maybe, and a lot of people did, they're too old. But you know what? Sometimes, Billy, it's better to have those old brains as opposed to those young
Are you
legs.
talking about yourself now?
Yes,
You
especially
are.
myself.
Say?
Especially, no, I'm not. I don't have a big ego. No, once in a while, but not too often. No. But
That's not what I heard about
in
you,
sport,
but anyway.
take Billy. You'll love this, and so do people. Take the 1967 Toronto Maple Leafs. Billy, they were almost on average 40. Can you imagine? They were almost like Johnny Bauer was
You
older
drunk,
than
man?
40.
You been drinking
No,
over there?
no, this is. I wish it was like
Yeah.
it had a little bit of spice in it,
Big
but it's
shooter,
water.
man. Ice water.
Yeah, I get high on ice water.
All right, so
No,
you-
but seriously, the least likely of the Maple Leafs 4 Stanley Cups in the 60s was by far 67. Partly
Okay.
because I'm just saying
we're talking about
old.
soccer. You're talking about 67.
But I'm
Leafs.
talking about older players.
Shout out
So
to
I'm
Jim
saying,
Iliopoulos. Hold on. Shout out to Jim Iliopoulos, my buddy out in Scarborough,
Yeah.
Ontario, the third base coach of the mighty East Shore Bulldogs. Ilio, tell me if you like the Bassett trade. To give you a little bit of a shout out. Keep
Okay.
up the good work.
So I'm just saying, in terms of Croatia, they are older, but they're still very athletic.
so
and
you
capable.
went-
So I'm just saying, I'm going with Croatia's experience because they were in a final 4 years ago. Okay, so they've had their hearts broken and they're capable of
we
winning.
don't
the
have
whole
all day, man. Just all I ask you
What?
for a pick, man. Not a song and dance. So you like Croatia to beat Argentina?
thing. Yes.
And,
And
how long you been watching soccer? 50
Well,
years?
Let's see, I'm 67. Yeah, about 50.
All right,
years.
take Argentina. Norm likes Croatia, and then on the other end, La Bleu is a little too
Well,
much. for
Morocco. Yeah, I'd say that. You know what? But I could see that going to penalties.
Yeah?
I could see.
Really?
Yeah, no,
Go away?
Morocco is just like it's one of the biggest Cinderella stories ever in the history of the
You
World
think it's
Cup.
bigger than Greece 2004 Euro, or is it on par?
Well, we'd only be able to say that if Morocco wins
That's
because
right.
you're Greeks. Did you even buy yourself a Greek footy shirt? Where's your Greek footy
It
shirt?
doesn't fit anymore, man. That was a lot slimmer there, man.
So stretch it a bit.
Man.
Buy one now.
I don't want to see, like, I can't wear those clothes. My man boobs come home, man, and then I just want to forget about it. Anyways, Blue Jays are in the news last couple of days. Signed one of your guys, Kevin Kiermaier. You love
Well,
Tampa
that's
Bay?
a great addition. That's a great addition. But again, we were talking off air about this. As you know, because you've said it yourself, the way the Blue Jays are going to be recognized, they've done a nice job in the offseason, is shoring up the bullpen. Okay, they added one player from Seattle, right? The question, how many additions do they need to that bullpen to really be credible in terms of, they've done enough that now they should be able to.
Here's what you don't factor in, because there's this guy lurking. You know, lurking. You know how he used to
Yeah,
lurk in the bushes.
He's in
Back- and
he's
his
in
name
the
is
room.
Nate Pearson.
Okay.
So when you're talking about the Blue Jays, he's
Yeah.
still part of the equation in terms of the back end of the bullpen. You put in a healthy Nate Pearson, throw a 99, 100, it's a whole different story. Then your needs decrease. At this point in time, you sign Kiermaier.
Yeah.
You sign Kiermaier, but here's the question. Did you sign Kiermaier as your everyday center fielder or as your fourth outfielder? If you signed him as your fourth outfielder, Harry Tomitis, how you doing, buddy? Goldfinger. If you signed Kiermaier as your fourth outfielder, kudos to you. But if you sign them as your everyday guy playing 150 games, man, Atkins and Shapar should be out the door, man. It's terrible. You replace Hernandez's offensive
The Oscar
capability
guy. Yeah.
with a guy that bats 240, light hitter, defensive guy. No, it's not happening. So you better expect the Blue Jays to make an addition in terms of a Conforto, in terms of a Brantley, somebody that can hit the baseball. And if Kiermaier plays once every 3 games, that's a good thing.
All right. Well, like I said, but you agree.
And have
like,
a little respect. Mario Viella, Mario. I call him Super Mario. He's a bus driver out in out in Niagara Falls. Was a little bit not feeling well. He's bouncing back. How you doing, brother? It's
I
nice to
wish him
see
well.
you. Bassett, 6 years, 3. Great points, Billy. This guy's always my nut.
Who?
Mario, you're one of the top guys in the business. Detlef wants to know Bassett, 63 years. 63 mil for 3 years, Rumack. I'll answer the question, obviously. If you guys watching Blue Jay baseball,
Yeah.
you know what Bassett is? tell you what he is.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you. You know I've got a good baseball mind, right? He is.
Allegedly, yes.
Look, if
Easy,
you expect Bassett to come in here and be a front of the rotation guy, swing and miss guy, a guy that goes like I don't know 17-5 with an ERA south of 3, that's not the guy. Bassett is good over 162 game season. He'll give you 30 starts and he'll give you 170 innings and he'll be serviceable. But I'll tell you this: if you expect Bassett to be a playoff pitcher, somebody that puts the Blue Jays over the top, he's not that guy. Do not be fooled. If he was that guy, he wouldn't get 3 years only in $60 million. He's a middle of the rotation guy. Norm Rumack, you need guys like that, right? Okay, so. But he is not somebody that you can put in against the Yankees, Sox, Houston, whoever's the juggernaut, and he can go 7 strong and two hitter and shut him out. He's not that guy.
So who from what you know is a reasonable, like, in other words, they have a good chance of getting on your bullpen wish list? Like, who do they have a good chance of getting
on your bullpen wish list at this point in time? You know what it is? The bullpen wish list is you're going to go with what you have. You're going to have Pearson in the back, and you're going to have to make another trade. You're going to have to make another move, not only for a left-handed hitting guy like maybe a Conforto as a free agent or a Brantley, but you're going to have to find 1-2 guys that throw 98, 99, 100. Those guys are everywhere. Those guys, you can find those guys. Baseball, especially in the bullpen, is the most turbulent position. Like, you're telling me guys like the guy from Baltimore last year, his name escapes me, he's throwing 101. They found him under a rock. You got other guys, a guy in San Diego, they find these guys out of nowhere. So it's on the Blue Jays scouting department to go find a couple of guys that throw a baseball 100 miles an hour. They're out there, Norm.
Okay.
You just got to go find them.
Now, I assume you know this. How far away is anybody in their farm system from being able to do that?
To do that? Yeah. I'm not intimately familiar with the farm system, but the guy on the forefront in terms of back-end bullpen help is Nate Pearson. He fits the bill exactly. Right. If you can have a healthy Nate Pearson, obviously – like at this point,
I was just wondering, is there anybody at like AAA who's almost there or double A? I don't know.
Mario Bassett's not going to replace Kikuchi. Bassett's going to replace Stripling. Kikuchi, they're going to do everything in their power to give him another shot as a 5 starter with Mitch White.
And by the way, I'm sure you talk with your baseball. What is it that went wrong with Kikuchi? Like what?
Here's
some confidence.
Baseball and confidence is a funny thing, man, because the guy throws a ball. The guy throws a ball in the upper 90s. Got good off speed, and it's funny. He just seems to me a guy that's unsure of himself, loses confidence, and then can't get back. Remember a guy. What's that Blue Jay guy that was? Geez, man, I wish my memory was better. The left-hander that just Romero. Remember Romero?
Yeah, Ricky Romero.
Ricky Romero.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable. And then he just fell off the map. He lost his confidence, couldn't throw a baseball, right? So somehow I think Kikuchi, the problem is psychological. It's between his ears. He's got to get off to a good start, right? And they got to baby him, get him out of spots, put him in decent spots. But at the end of the day, his stuff plays. Norm. It plays in a way where, in terms of just sheer stuff, he's got some of the best stuff of any left-handed pitcher in the AL. So it doesn't matter.
You got to convert it on the plate. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So if Kikuchi's your number 5 starter, right, you can get away with that. You can get away with what he delivers.
If your bullpen is strong, like your middle relief, right? You need a good middle relief.
There's not a team in baseball with a salary cap that's got 5 starting pitchers, a deep bullpen, and a roster full of studs. Every club has a hole at some point in time, right?
All right.
There's not a club this side of Houston that doesn't have holes, right? And one of the Blue Jays' holes is obviously and they're not the only club with their 4th and 5th starters. Yeah. Especially if Kikuchi's your 5 guy and you want 30 starts a year, it's questionable. The jury's out. But do not be surprised if this guy goes 15-5 with an ERA of 3.5 if he figures it out.
Or he could go the other way.
And be DFA'd by June.
That's right.
Yeah. But here's the thing, Norman. Here's the funny thing: when you have stuff,
I would think in a situation like with the Blue Jays, Billy, I'm sure you'd agree. This year for Kikuchi, it's going to be a shorter leash, right?
If I'm handling the guy, you know what I got to do? I got to instill confidence in this guy. So I pull him aside, man, with his interpreter because I don't speak Japanese or whatever he is. Yeah. And I pull him aside and I say, listen, man, I'm going to give you the goddamn baseball. I'm going to give it to you for a long time. I'm not going to come and question you. You're going to get till July. You're going to get to you're going to get whatever. Take the baseball. Don't look at me and go and throw with confidence. And at a certain point in time, here's the worst thing that you can have is always wondering about your job, looking over your shoulder, not having confidence. Somebody's got to be secure. I give them the baseball, and I don't ask for it back until June, July, and I can get away with it.
Well, I mean, but in the middle
I
of
don't
the game
care.
sometimes. No,
In the middle of the game, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I give them I give them that spot, and I try to instill confidence in the guy. I try to instill confidence in him.
Well, also that would depend on where you are in the standings.
Hold on, no, nothing. Because the guy, Mitch White is a dumpster fire compared to Kikuchi. I saw Mitch White pitch 12 games. Mitch White is a dumpster fire. Kikuchi, at least, you know what? Strikes guys out, has swing and miss stuff. Mitch White is your 5-starter, man. He couldn't pitch for the intercounty.
From the Dodgers, right?
Yeah, he couldn't pitch for the intercounty Maple Leafs, Mitch White, man. He was god-awful, Mario, last year. You want him, number 5? No. You got a 4 with Manoah, Gosman, Burrios, and Bassett. You're good. You put Kikuchi.
So by the way, just if I can go back to White, like I'm assuming the Blue Jays scouted him, no? So what
I scouted him. I was on board. I'm still on board, man. And I told you, confidence is a funny thing. Mechanics, language barriers.
Okay, switching leagues. Sometimes I know pitchers struggle for a while, right?
There's all kinds of things, man. But the kid throws the ball 95, 96 from the left side with a decent slider and a decent assortment of off-speed pitches as your number 5 guy. Like I could vividly remember him going into the Bronx when the Yankees were on fire on a Sunday and 2-hit shutout through 7 innings. He has the pedigree somewhere within him to be that guy. Now, can you bring it out?
Okay.
That's why Atkins and these guys and Pete Walker. That's why they get paid for. Pete, man, bring it out in them, man. I can't do it over here.
Well, listen, we have like 5-10 minutes left on the clock. So let me switch you over to the NFL. I think we've gone through the Blue Jays pretty thoroughly. Okay, so again, it's a year of surprises and shocks and whatever in the NFL. So
what time you got?
7:55.
Holy jeez, man, we just fly
when you're having fun.
Yeah. All right, what do you want to talk about?
All right,
Brady?
so we'll get to him, but first, as much as we were surprised, like a couple of weeks ago, especially AFC East, NFC East, right? Completely surprised by the way the standings were showing. Is there, even considering those two divisions, right now, considering the Lions, the Detroit Lions of all teams are the hottest team in football, is there, even looking at division surprises, is there a bigger surprise than the current, as we speak, Detroit Lions?
Hey,
their quarterback, Goff.
They're a surprise given the fact they started out the year with limited expectation. Again, it was a good field-goal story. You have Jeff Goff. You won 4 in a row. You're 6-7. Take it easy. Come back to me in 2 weeks, and I'll let you know. if you can beat the Jets.
I don't know who have they got in the next 2 weeks.
They got the Jets. Okay. They got the Jets in a playoff elimination game of sorts. So come back in 2 weeks. Norman asked me that question, but for now, there's only 3 clubs in the NFC that got anyhow a shot to represent to hoist a Lombardi, and that's the Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the San Francisco 49ers. It's a 3-team race. There's nobody else there. There is nobody else with an iota of a shot except those 3 clubs. Now, you pick the order. Obviously, Deebo Samuel out. With the quarterback Garoppolo, you got Mr. Irrelevant QB. So San Francisco's obviously question marks.
Yep.
So it's Dallas, Philadelphia, baby. It's Dallas, Philadelphia. Anybody that disagrees.
Okay.
Who you got? Giants?
No. I'm just asking you, like, what? Okay, you mentioned the injury, but like, you completely discount San Francisco?
No, are you deaf?
No, I know,
just put them 1, 2, 3.
I'm saying, but I was asking.
I discount the Vikings completely.
No. Okay, and you did that before. That's fine. Okay, you don't believe them. So, okay, I get that. But I'm just saying, San Francisco against the Eagles or the Cowboys,
can beat them.
Okay.
You know why they can beat them? Because they got the best defense in football. Okay. Now, the question is that enough? Is that enough? Can you get serviceable?
As they say, defense wins titles.
Can you get a serviceable game from Purdy? Can you put 24 points up?
Did Purdy look pretty? It's one game.
Yeah.
I know. Did Purdy
say
look
that
pretty?
easy?
Purdy looked pretty good.
Yeah, you look pretty. The point of the matter is, you can't discount that. That's why I put them up there. There's 1 of 3 clubs. But in this particular order, and as much as I hate it, it's Eagles at the top of the pendulum, the Cowboys right behind. Much will be determined when those teams face off Christmas Eve in Irving.
And to be fair, after the first month of the NFL season, you're saying, I think you said something, well, the Eagles, who have they played, right? So you've completely changed your mind about that?
No, I've completely changed my mind, but they earn respect.
Yeah. You were wondering about their quarterback, too, right?
And I still wonder about him because you know what? If he's got to throw the ball from the pocket 30 times, then you know what? Philly fans would wonder about him, too. given the fact he's mobile, he can move around, make things happen on the run, Philly. But if you get in a game and he's got to throw from the pocket 30 times to win a game, he hasn't shown he can do that to me, and he hasn't shown he can do that to football. Now, can a defensive club get him to the point in time and contain him in that way? I don't know. I'm not there. I'm not drawing up the schemes, Norm. I don't know.
All right.
Can it happen?
All right.
I don't know. So the other thing we got to go before we get going, got a few minutes. Obviously, the other side, Buffalo, Kansas City, and a plethora of other teams.
Yeah, but I mean, Buffalo, Kansas City is like, well, it could be better than the Super Bowl, right? It might be. I'm not discounting your cow. I'm just saying it could be. That's going to be the showdown. Do you see anybody in a playoff that isn't a playoff? And I'm kind of like talking about Buffalo, like I would talk about the Maple Leafs. They've sort of proven it, but they've had their upsets, right? So this year, the way Buffalo is playing, the way Kansas City is playing, do you see I don't see a reasonable chance of an upset against Kansas. Let's say
you don't see a reason. Cincinnati's beat Kansas City 3 times in a row. Nobody playing better football than Cincinnati. Number one, right? So you got to factor them in. They're the defending conference champions, and they're 9-4. You got to give them respect. And here's the other club that you got to give respect to with a plethora of injuries is the Chargers out of LA. Yeah. They're the dark horse. The only reason they can't come up to Buffalo in January and win, but they can win in Kansas City. But they can't come up to Orchard Park and win, but that club is dangerous. So for me, it's Buffalo, Kansas City, Cincinnati, and the Chargers. And then anybody else like Baltimore would be a surprise. Anybody else would be a surprise. So basically for me, it's come down to 7. It's come down to about 7 clubs. And I don't see anybody outside those 7 coming up. And
a week ago, I think you said that right then last week on doing the show, if you had to take Buffalo and Dallas in the Super Bowl, you would give Buffalo like a field goal edge. Is that right?
Yeah, I wouldn't, but Vegas would. If the game started, if the game was played tomorrow, the line would be Buffalo 2.5, maybe 3. I'm not sure about that. Anywhere from 2 to 3.5. But here's obviously, this was prior to the Von Miller news. Von Miller ACL done for the year, right? That's a big difference in terms of Buffalo football and how that line would look. And we don't know how they're going to be playing months from now. But for my sake, again, as a Cowboy fan, I'm awfully optimistic. But Cowboys Eagles, baby, it's going to be an unbelievable game. A couple Sundays from now, 4:30 in Fort Worth, Texas. That's going to be must see TV for a lot of people, Cowboy fans included.
All right. Okay, so Jordan LaRoche is our esteemed – Jordan, are we out of time?
It's
8:01. So
want to go 2 more minutes? Can you –
Oh, the 2-minute warning. The 2-minute warning.
All right. We do this. We'll talk about my picks anyways. So,
how did you do?
I went 4-4. I went 4-4
So what's
last
your season percentage?
47, 38, and 3. Still not bad, but it's funny because I'm in such a malaise that every week I go either 4-3, 3-4, 4-5.
Yeah.
Right? I can't even go the Costanza and do the opposites, right? Because I'm 500, even if I went the other way. So again.
But how are most of the guys, just probably a lot of people are curious, from what you know, if you follow the Vegas prognosticators, how are they doing this year, most of them? Are they struggling?
I'd be in the top 20%, 10 games over 500, right?
Okay.
But even that, the record, I'm not accustomed to that. I don't want to be braggadocious or anything, but I'm 120 games over 500 the last 3 years.
That's pretty good.
This year I can't pick my ass or my nose, man. And that's just the way it is. It's tough for me. I don't know how other people are doing, but I'll tell you this. I can't read everything properly, so I'm going to give you the honors. New England travels to Arizona as 3-point underdogs. Who you got?
I'm taking New England to win by a field goal.
So you're on the Belichick train.
Yeah.
You gonna wear your hoodie next week if they win?
Where?
Here?
Pardon me?
You gonna wear your hoodie on there? Do you have a Belichick hoodie? Have you ever interviewed him?
No, I wish I could have interviewed him.
Back in the day, you never got
to find a question where he couldn't say his next opponent. Next week, fill in the blank.
So back in the day when you were in the scene, you never had a chance to interview him?
No, are you kidding? Canadian. It was like, no, you have to get the only NFL team where I got a media pass, because it happened to be convenient. I was going on vacation. So I got a media pass to see the Buccaneers because I was vacationing down there. I was going to see some hockey games too, but I was still with the fan. So I got to see a Buccaneers game with New Orleans. But you know what helped was, at the time, fellow Syracuse University alum. He played football there. Doug Marrone. You know him well.
Yeah.
He coached, right? He was an assistant to Coach Payton in New Orleans. This was 2005 before he got the head coach. He went back to Syracuse briefly as head coach,
All right.
but he coached the Bills. And now, actually, he's an assistant coach at Alabama.
No kidding.
Yeah, he's a
Syracuse alum?
Yeah.
Why don't you give him a call, man? We'll have him on.
Well, I'd like to, but I only have his Buffalo number because I haven't seen him in a while.
Why don't you send him a
But
letter?
Doug Marrone, if
Why
you're
don't you
watching,
craft-
I
why don't you
will.
craft him
I'm
a
going to
letter?
leave a message with the Crimson Tide. Yeah, it's a Syracuse guy. I know you guys are way better than us and all that. Like you kill us in football. But
All right,
I just
Mario,
say, if I get Doug Marrone on, that'd be fine. Because, he played for the Jets. Yeah, no, he played in the NFL for about 4 or 5 years as an O-lineman.
All right, Mario wants to ask because I guess
Yeah.
he didn't tune in at the
What's that?
proper time, Mario.
Who might-
You're,
Yeah.
Next time we need you to pay attention, Mario, from
Yeah.
the beginning of the show. Stop throwing around compliments and, focus a little bit over there in Niagara Falls. He wants to know who you got to win the World Cup.
Well, if I remove all I'm going to go with Croatia. I just think they're going to get it done. But no one will be surprised. France won it last time. They're missing key players, obviously, especially Paul Pogba and N'Golo Kante and Karim Benzema. So it's a compliment to France.
Mbappe, Mbappe. They got Mbappe, best player in the world.
No, I know,
And
but those 3 players are rock stars anywhere in the world. They're the ones that they're missing. So for France to get this far without those 3, all right, they would be the objective favorite, but I'm going to give Croatia a little bit of edge because the way they're playing. And by the way, kudos to Morocco. It's one of the best stories in decades.
So you got Croatia, France in the final.
Yes.
You heard it from Norm Rumack.
That's my pick. We'll see.
So this guy, hold on. He's telling me all the time that he's a soccer expert. He knows this, that, the other. He got Croatia, France. So you know what you should do,
so
Mike.
who are you picking?
Mike, you know what you should do, Mike. I know you love your wagers. If this guy's got Croatia, France, he's as Russ as could be. Go Argentina, Morocco in the finals. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks once again to Kosa, Carpets for Life, Nikki, and the good folks at the bottom line, 22 Front Street West. You ever want to come out? Get out for an evening, man. It's a pretty good environment.
And I got to, again, I go by where my Chelsea.
Forget who cares about you, man. I'm talking.
I'm just saying, Mateo Kovacic is a key midfielder.
Let me ask you something. If the fan offered you, if the fan right now called you tonight and said, you know what, Norm wants you to come back, would you leave me or stay with the Greek?
I tell them I'll come back, but only after my show with beloved Billy, George at Sackis.
Would you bring me on?
Of course I would. I'd say without Billy, I'd be nothing.
See you guys next week. What a pleasure, man.
Thanks
you
to
again.
Jordan LaRoche. Thanks to our sponsors.
Yeah.
Thanks to you and the bottom line. Good night. God bless.
Gotta have a
Talk to you
See
soon.
you later.